Okay guys, so it's day 42 of the MCO as I record this, but seeing how late it is right now, by the time you watch this, it'll be day 43, all right? So let's, before I get on to today's question and answer session, just give you some quick updates. Good news, the S-Max, they took out the bumper and thankfully there's no damage inside the bumper. So right now what happens is the car's at the paint shop, repainting the bumper, then from there it will be sent by tow truck to the Ford service center where they will replace the taillights and also do the service for my car. Okay, now that's one. Second thing, I just want to share with you guys, if anybody has property, any of you guys own property, an apartment, a house with rooms to let out in anywhere in Sungai Buloh or in near HKL, drop me a line in the comment section below. Let me know. Okay, a friend of mine is running an initiative whereby he wants to see if he can help all the doctors, the nurses, all the frontliners that are working in these two COVID hospitals, help them get accommodation near the hospitals. Okay, so if you're, anyways, the other thing is that if you're worried about cleanliness, about hygiene, don't worry about it. My friend will also be arranging for sanitization and sterilization services before handing the house back to you guys after all this is over. Okay, so this is so for those of you property owners in that vicinity, you feel like doing something to contribute back to society in this time of need, this is an opportunity for you guys. Okay, do grab it. Do this for frontliners. Okay, so let's get on and check out some of the comments. So NL3044 commenting on my E-Class Coupe review. Wow, this is some time back. I actually test drove the E-Class in Barcelona back in 2017 for the International Media Drive. And yeah, that was with Carlis, and by the time I had reviewed the local spec car, I had left Carlis and I joined Evo. Was it 2017 or 2018? One of those 2 years. So, yeah. No, wait, what am I talking about? It has to be 2017, right? It was 2018, I was in Evo already. Okay, so he says in UK, so this is a commenter from the UK, agility control or adaptive dampers is standard in all models. Lucky you guys. We are lucky, but we only have AMG line. Also, it is impossible to tune a one-size-fits-all suspension. The only solution is adaptive. Otherwise, it is a jack of all trades, not quite comfortable, but not quite sporty. You cannot have it both ways. The only way to achieve that is with a manual tune. There is absolutely no way you can tune a car to be very comfortable and very sport at the same time. It is literally impossible. It never existed in the past. The only solution is electronic dampers, but this only controls damping or air suspension, but it is less responsive. He must be referring to a remark I made on the E-Class suspension setup. Well, basically, right, my thoughts on the matter is this. Even now, there is no way you can have, what you're saying is right. Okay, very sporty and very comfortable are two extreme ends of the spectrum. Okay, and I wouldn't say it's, and yes, any good suspension system is a compromise between these two extremes, and I believe there is a way which you can achieve a reasonable setup. Now, see, the thing is that you have suspension tuning is as much art as it is science, and also it is also about judging the requirements of the car. So, for me, I have driven cars that give you, I wouldn't say like, you know, super sporty handling, but what they're able to do is that they give a great degree of comfort, and at the same time a fairly assuring level of body control. Okay, so yeah, you're right in the sense that you cannot have very comfortable, very sporty, but I believe there is always a way to strike the right compromise in between. And there, for me, there I always have a special kind of admiration for manufacturers that are able to balance comfort and handling using a standard passive suspension. I think that is an art form. Car makers in the past have managed it, and but it's just that when you have electronic dampers, you are able to set the suspension to adapt to immediately change its setting to best suit the current condition. And in the case of some really high-end Mercedes models, what they're able to do is they have cameras and sensors to see ahead of the car, and the computer continuously adjusts the damping rates of the air suspension at all four corners to best best suit the suspension behavior to the terrain and also to the driver's behavior. Okay, so I like your name, Joe High. It's like, the opposite of Joe Low. Hey Con, just wondering, what do you think of the Mark 7 GTI? Is it a reliable car? I'm earning about 3,000. Gaji Berse, no commitment whatsoever. Is putting almost half of my salary into a car worth it? It depends on whether you are asking me or Bobby Ang lah. It depends. You see, the thing is this. Do you have a safety net? Do it, are you staying with your folks? Okay. So I mean, if let's say like your 3,000 ringgit, you really don't have to pay for anything else. And if you really like the GTI well enough, then by all means go ahead. But do bear in mind that when you're buying, let's first of all let's check the value of a Golf GTI these days. So the cheapest Mark 7 GTI I'm seeing here is 102,000 ringgit, and that's a 2014 car, 6 years old. So you will definitely need to be very, very meticulous with your homework. So before you buy the car, do check the service history of the car. Ensure that everything is properly. The owner is follows the maintenance schedule religiously, and in your case, do avoid the variants with the tech pack. Okay, because that comes with adaptive suspension, and when that adaptive suspension goes, the price to fix that is going to be more than your monthly salary. Okay, I would have to say, if you really want to go ahead with this, you absolutely have to trade with caution, because yeah, because it's a 6-year-old car, and there will be things that you will need fixing. Yeah, you can't afford the 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 what you call it, the installments, but yeah, the what you call it, and the car is reliable. The car is reliable, but it's just that you have wear and tear to take care of. So honestly, what I'm seeing here also, in addition, next to the 100,000 GTI Mark 7, the 2014, the same year GTI Mark 6 is 71,000 ringgit. So that may be something that is easy, a lot easier on the wallet. Okay, no less fun to drive, and yeah, and it has just as much street cred as the Mark 7 Golf GTI. Okay, so you may want to consider that. But of course, if your mind is already made up, you want to go for it, then just go for it. Okay, but what I'm saying, be careful, because you are committing to a GTI at 3K. That takes some balls lah. And also, there's also a question of whether the banks will approve your loan or not. Okay, so the Mark 6 GTI at 70,000 may be an easier starting point, because then once you let's say like you get that Mark 7 GTI at now at 70K, and let's just say that 2 years down the road, let's see how much does a 2012 GTI cost then. Okay, so let's a 2012 Golf GTI is still asking for between 60,000 to 70,000. Really? I'm seeing a 2013 GTI going for 78,000. So never mind, let's look at 2013 GTIs then. Okay, yeah, so yeah, so Golf GTI Mark 6 is it's about maybe okay, now I'm seeing units going for 90 over thousand ringgit thereabouts, but then again the lesson is the same. All right, Golf 6 GTI, easier starting point. Then as you progress your way up in life, you earn more money. Then in 2 years down the road, you can then trade the Golf 6 GTI also for a more, by the time you have earned more money, right? So you may have the buying power to then upgrade from your Golf 6 GTI to a Golf 7 GTI or even a Golf 7R. Okay, right. So Lim Kok Kwan, not sure whether it's the proper channel to ask you questions. This is the proper channel to ask me questions. Seeking advice whether to change the gear oils of my BMW F3330E, as I know maintenance periodically is vital. Within my understanding, the SC does not include gear oil change in the package. Correct. However, I'm not sure whether to take the risk of voiding the warranty and do it outside, or should I just leave it as is. Seriously having a dilemma whether to change it or not. Your advice is much appreciated. Now, here's the thing. BMW says that the automatic transmissions are lifetime fill, means you don't have to change the gearbox oil. And let me just share with you a story. My E39 was sold by Auto Bavaria. It was during the time when Auto Bavaria was the official distributor of BMW cars in Malaysia. There was no BMW Malaysia in existence just yet. Okay, now, so here's the thing. If you look at the official manual that came with the car from BMW AG, it says the automatic transmission fluid of the car does not require replacement. But there was a separate little card in the owner's manual package that was inserted and printed by Auto Bavaria that recommends fluid changes at 60,000 kilometer intervals. So yeah, so for the longest time, BMW AG has already advocated a lifetime fill for their transmission fluids. And of course, with BMW Malaysia, a subsidiary of BMW AG, so all cars distributed by BMW AG would have come with the recommendation to not include ATF change in their service regime. Now, so the BMW free service package naturally does not include ATF change, and that would be your case for you for the next 5 years or so. Now, the thing is this. Firstly, I will definitely not recommend that you change the oil outside, because, like you said, that voids your warranty. But the question I have for you is your car a high mileage? Is your car a high mileage unit? I mean, your 330e right now will be about 2 or 3 years old. How much mileage have you done? If you're only doing about 30,000 kilometers, it's still okay. But if by now your car has clocked about maybe 60,000 kilometers, then yeah, you should look into this. And what you can consider is ask the service center to change if they will do the ATF oil change. Okay, say that you are ready to pay for it. Now, if Auto Bavaria does not do it, then go to Ingress, go to Quill, go to all of them. Ask. I'm sure one of them will probably be okay to do an ATF change if the customer insists on it. Because let's put it this way, there is a reason why the transmission still has a drain plug. There's a reason why BMW parts stockists still sell the transmission fluids. It's because they anticipate there is a possibility that the transmission fluid, for whatever reason, may or may not require replacing. Okay. Now, of course, the other thing is your car also regularly going through stop-go traffic? If yes, then changing the transmission oil is also a very, very good idea. Now, Azlan Abidin, hi Con, quick query. I have a 2014 Nissan Almera E-Spec as a daily driver, which I'm thinking of upgrading to either a 2016 Mazda 3 2.0 high spec or 2016 Toyota Altis 1.8G. Both are similarly spec'd. All things considered, which would be your pick as the new daily driver? As my weekend ride, I have a 2004 BMW 325i, that would be the E46. Main criteria for the daily driver, either from the Almera to either the Mazda 3 or the Altis 1.8, is to ensure reliability and comfort. Appreciate your comments. Both cars are reliable. Of course, the Altis is more reliable, but of course, then again, I'm not saying that the Mazda 3 is unreliable. It is reliable, but with the Altis, you have far less suspension wear to deal with. Mazdas are known to wear out their suspension bushers and rubber parts quickly. So these are not things that cause the car to break down. It's the normal wear and tear life cycle of the car, but they just require more frequent replacement than the Toyota. And of course, the Toyota's ride is also tuned towards a more comfort bias versus the Mazda. Interior is also more spacious than the Mazda. So overall, my personal pick I would choose the Mazda 3. My preference is for the Mazda 3. But in your case, where you are prioritizing reliability and the comfort, the Altis is an easy choice. RJ commenting on my Toyota Rush Drive, 3 minutes 13 seconds. May be fun to many, but it's a cultural disaster right there. What did I say at 3 minutes 13 seconds? Watching porn on RedTube. Oh shit. Okay, right, so okay. Oops. 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 Okay, Su Yang Shan. Hey Con, I'm one of your 14-year-old subscribers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing too. I'm due to have an essay competition sometime after MCO pertaining the environment. So in your opinion, are hybrid electric cars like the XC90 and Nissan Leaf going to be reliable in the present and be game changers to help with the environment? Electric cars are definitely reliable, because if you compare an electric car to an internal combustion engine car, way less moving components. Of course, there's a question on the stability of the softwares used by the manufacturer, but the thing is that if there are issues, you see, the beauty about software issues is that you send it into the manufacturer can continue to work on it. You send it into your next service, they update the newer software, and your car is good to go. Okay. Hybrid cars. The example that you quoted, the XC90, thus far has had a very, very good track record of reliability. Some minor software bugs here and there, but overall, if you look at the used car market, XC60 T8, XC90 T8, both these cars are holding their value pretty well, which is indicative that they are not seen as unreliable cars. So I think over the last 10 years or so, car manufacturers, they have worked very well to perfect the reliability of hybrid cars. But of course, the problem with hybrid cars is that you have still the old-fashioned internal combustion engine that has to be a mechanically complex system that has to interface with with an electronic system with all the wires, the wiring, the high voltage circuitry and the software and all that. It is this interfacing that adds a fairly high degree of complexity and introduces potential room for disaster, for complications. Okay, yeah, and thus far the overall reliability track record of hybrid cars beyond Volvo, the example that you mentioned, is pretty mixed. Okay, so and the big issue with hybrid and electric cars is that the batteries, firstly, within the car itself, the battery is like a fuel tank that is reducing in size over the years, because battery requires is a chemical energy storage device. It stores electricity in the form of chemical energy. But the problem is that with repeated reactions over the years, the battery gradually reduces its charge. So as the years roll by, the energy content of your battery at full charge gradually becomes less. That's one thing. Now, the second thing is that battery production, the battery production process is still very controversial, you know, with all the rare earth materials. You know, there are, of course, you know, some battery suppliers that follow the latest and the best production standards, but there are also some that are not. So you see, the thing is that I would say that at the initial stage, hybrid and electric cars was not so much about, yes, at user point, you are reducing your emissions, you're reducing your fuel consumption, but you're at the same time also shifting the burden of the power generation to A, the battery manufacturing facility, B, the power generation facility, which if it's a solar power or it's hydroelectric power, then you're talking about not so severe environmental impact. But then again, with hydroelectric power, you're also talking, when you build dams, you're also affecting the surrounding flora and fauna. You are flooding, you know, acres of land to hold that water. And also when you talk about solar panels, there's also the question of the recyclability and the materials they use to make solar panels as well. So it is a very complex interplay of factors there that I would say that, yeah, it is an avenue to explore, but on its own, hybrid cars and electric cars will not be the sole answer to our environmental woes at the moment. Okay, so I hope this answers your question. I understand that if you're doing this as an essay, you're going to have a lot of thick factors to discuss. So I welcome you to continue to reply to my comments, and we can have a continued debate, and hopefully this would assist with your essay. Okay. Indian State commented, your opinion on 2015 E250 W212 Recon. Firstly, I would say if possible, go for a local spec equivalent, right? Because whether you buy a Recon or used car is in fact a used car. It's just that your Recon car come from UK, come from Japan, arrives in our market, your name is the first name on the grant. That's it. Okay, but of course, if you go for a Recon, try to target a Japan spec car, and also go for something with higher specs than what we get in. That is either higher specs than what we are getting, or significantly lower in price compared to a local spec car. Because at that time, 2015, Mercedes actually spec'd the the E-Class facelift pretty well. So if you want to go for a Recon E-Class, be sure that it is either a damn good deal, as in like it better be 20-30% cheaper than a local spec equivalent of the same year, or something that has a higher level of specification compared to the cars that they have offered in Malaysia. Kaheng, Hi-Con, I asked about S60 T6 2010 2011 before. Any other options for car with high horsepower but looks silent, doesn't shine? Up to 80,000 maybe? You want doesn't shine, right? The BMW F10 535, they are advertising for 90 something thousand ringgit. I am sure you can find one out there at 80,000. Get a 535, go for a non-M Sport one, pull out the badge, stick a 520i badge there. That's your silent killer right there. Iketani, hi Con, thanks for answering my comment again. Yeah, your comment is spot on about the issue always stay in my head even though it isn't serious yet. Oh, this is the one about the E60 leaking, having a minor oil leak. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a serious issue right now, but yeah, go fix it once MCO is over. Amir DG Proton X70 cool. Hafiz Khair, Con, put Malay subtitle lah on your video. I'm poor in English. Makan masa lah bro. Tapi lepas ni untuk review, saya akan cuba keluarkan lebih video review bahasa Melayu lah. Baldwin Chua on my post-credit scene from my previous video. Oh, this is the one where I toppled down when driving my daughter's little car. Seatbelt saves lives. Well, I wasn't thinking of that lesson, but if that's the takeaway that you get, yes, go wear seatbelts. Roger Lu, is Peugeot 408 worth to buy at about 120k since new Camry costs 198k? Peugeot 4 at 120k, I think you're talking about new, right? No, they don't sell the Peugeot 408 anymore if I remember correctly, but let me just double check the Peugeot Malaysia website. Nope, the 408 is no longer on sale. Let's look at used examples. Let's see what is the most expensive Peugeot 408 that you can get. 2017, okay, I'm seeing a 2017 most expensive going for 93,000 ringgit. So you don't have to go up to 120,000 ringgit to get a Peugeot 408. Mike Cole, Wana worth only 2k. Do you mean Waja? Only 2k? No way lah bro. Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. They aren't worth as they are now in the 4-figure zone, but not 2k. 2k is probably like really thorough condition car, probably 2k lah, but no way. Car Guy 66, I was mentioned. For family hauler, 730 E66 LCI is an incredible used car value. Other than the air suspension, maintenance is just like an E60, just an N52 with ZF 6-speed. Let's see how much are they going for. BMW 7 Series, that would be the 730 Li. 28 to 43k for the 730i. Yeah, not bad actually. I mean, all these complex cars, right? Actually, once you get past the psychology, you prepare yourself that, you know, these are the things that I need to fix, right? Then they are really not scary. What is really scary are cars with problems that you cannot predict. That is worrisome. But honestly, BMWs, right? So many of them on the road. Whatever problem that you face, someone else out there has faced it, provided you don't buy some rare variant. Yeah, whatever you have out there, someone else in the market has faced it, and if somebody in Malaysia has not faced it, somebody elsewhere in the world has faced it already. Zal Rashad Zalfi 3, I have another question. Found a used 2017 F80 M3 competition in Muda for 419k. What do you think? Is it worth it? Should I get it over a G20 330i? Of course, go for the M3, because let's say like when you decide to sell your car in 3 years, your M3 will probably retain a far greater portion of its resale value than the 330i. So of course go for the M3 if you can afford it. And since you can ask me, I'm guessing you probably worked it out that you can. Herbert Lowe, how is Chevrolet Cruze doing in terms of performance? You know, there's a funny story that when I was back when the Cruze was launched, we went for the media drive. The time I don't know whether it's the GM or the MD of the local Chevrolet distributor back then. He was very proud in declaring the Cruze to be 100 times better than the Honda Civic, which at the time was the Civic FD. Well, didn't do half as well as the Honda Civic, as history would show. The Cruze, in terms of performance, very, very average. The 1.8 liter engine is just enough, and the suspension, they gave it the rear suspension a funny name, compound crank axle, but basically it's just a torsion beam. And the handling characteristics of that car is very bizarre. It has oversteer tendencies, very weird for a front-wheel drive car. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Calling it a night for today's questions. So any comments, any more questions that you'd like to direct to me, drop it in the comment section below, or you can PM us on Aurizn Facebook, or you can drop a comment in any of our posts. If I see any interesting, I'll just answer you guys here in this comment section as well. Okay, so anyways, once again to all our Muslim brothers and sisters, selamat berpuasa, and to everybody else, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the road again soon. Okay, take care, guys. Hey wife, who is this guy?